Please start preview player. Start streaming. So I hit the player first. Okay. So what happened here? So why didn't it start working? And are we live? Oh, we're live. Hey guys, those of you here on YouTube, I want to say I apologize. I'm having fun trying to make all this technology work. I've been talking for like an hour here, uploading the video onto Facebook. So I do have a Facebook. You can join me on Facebook there and see what I just did. I'm going to try to repeat it, but I don't think I can ever redo it again. So anyway, so here we are. My mind have a mind of its own. What do I do with it, and how do I create my life that I want? That's the big question. So I wonder if this is working. Yeah, I think it is working. All right. So how to take control of your mind. My mind have a mind of its own. Well, the truth is your mind does not have a mind of its own. And the reason why it doesn't have a mind of its own, it has its own operating system within itself. Now the problem is most people just don't understand how their mind works. So one of the things was my biggest mission was to figure out, why am I so screwed up? Why do I have all these problems? Why are these problems happening? Why do I keep feeling and doing the same thing over and over again? And that was the big deal for me. And I wonder if this is actually working. I think it is. All right, so now, here it is. I'm working on myself. I'm trying to sort out my head. Now, I don't know, most of you are probably like me. You're willing to try anything. You name it, I'm trying it because I've got to sort myself out. I'm tired of feeling miserable. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of the trauma. I am tired of being just bothered. I want something better. And so what I started doing is I started just searching and trying things. You know, and of course I've been searching and trying just about everything I could possibly find to help solve my problems. And of course, you know, my grandmother at the time, I moved in with her when I was 14 years old. You know, she was a religious person. She goes to church, you know, 3 times a week, studies her Bible. And so my first introduction to trying self-help is using the you know, what I had learned there. So then, what I started doing is I started reading, trying to figure out, make that system work, and I couldn't make the system work. Oh God, this problem with it. And so I started using different things to help bring myself into the future, get away from my past that's tormenting me and taunting me. And hopefully this is working. And so I started studying about hypnosis. I started studying about how to change myself, how to change how I feel. And so I went into hypnosis. I started studying that. I kind of got scared with it. And then over a period of time, I actually found, by accident actually, as NLP. And NLP began to really help me create the understanding of why and how I have problems. Because the NLP mindset is saying the reason why you have what you have is because you're successfully creating this. And if you can figure out how you're creating this, you can also stop creating by doing to yourself. And so that's the biggest key, learning how to change myself. And that's what I really started learning. So over a period of time, I went ahead, started working on reading NLP, watching and listening to audio tapes. And so today I have people who write me and say, hey, you know, I got a problem. My mind has a mind of its own. It won't shut itself off. It makes me do weird things. And the truth is, if you don't know yourself, what's going on inside yourself, you're always going to be a slave to what's happening in here. You know, unfortunately, most people know how to drive their car better than know how to drive their own thinking. And so what I discovered is that once I built what we call a healthy belief system, or a healthy system in how it all works, that was the biggest, that's the biggest thing I found, really. It's because if you operate from this thinking system and you see things from this angle, it's easy to change it. And so that's where it all started, really, is trying to figure out the mechanics of it. So doing this, adjusting my own memory, because the first book I bought is called Mind Works, and I actually started reading it, started using it, and it was working. And that was the most amazing thing. Actually, it actually worked, which is an NLP process. So now, you know, I use, you know, of course in '99 I bought the EFT training course, and I bought the Ultimate Therapist course as well, the VHS tapes, and I started integrating the two pieces. Not only integrating those two pieces, I looked at Dr. Larry Nim's work, Be Set Free Fast. I took Psych K. I went into the energy group people, all that stuff there. I started studying everything I possibly could to give an understanding why this is doing it to us. You know, and at one point I called all the hypnotists in my local city, and I wanted to figure out the mechanics of belief. How does belief work? Because it is our beliefs that hinder us. It's our beliefs that enslaves us. It's our beliefs that keeps us from moving forward. And so with this understanding, and we're talking about this is in 2002. All right, now this is 2017. This has been a long time ago. All right, the evolution of what I've learned from all the different pieces accumulated, mixed into what I would call a beautiful, easy flowing, effective system, your tactics training, FasterEFT, is what I would consider the top shelf of all processes, which means it takes less time to get the job done. It has a system that's easy and acceptable by all walks of life. It can help anyone who's honest enough to look inside themselves and see the mechanics of what they're doing to themselves and adjust these pieces. You get a change. All right? The biggest problem I see with individuals is they believe everything that's happening up here. They believe it all to be true. All of it to be true. And so what we want to do is to change how we see ourselves, change how we respond to what's up here, and if you have stuff up here you don't like, change it. Now, again, the biggest problem that I have encountered over the years is this one problem. And this problem is paramount in your personal transformation, because people have created what we would call an identity or a value system built on memory. All right? Now, here's the foundation and what we need to lay down before you. First of all, what is real? Right now is real. That means you're here watching me on this channel. You're here responding and thinking to what I say. This is real right now. All right? When you were 5 years old, last week, yesterday, when you recall it today, it's not real. It was real at that point in time, but that point in time is faded off, and now you're holding what I call as a memory inside the mind. This memory inside your mind is not the real deal. It's a facsimile, it's a fake, it's just how you perceived it at the moment that it was recorded and the meanings you give to it. All right, so if this is true, and it is true, if you change how you hold it here in the mind, does it change the original event? The answer is no. What does it change? It only changes what you hold here. But not only does it change what you hold here, but it also changes how you're programmed and how you program yourself. So most people speak, my mind has a mind of its own. What they're really saying is my mind has its own system of thinking and I don't know how to drive it. I don't know how to utilize it. And therefore it controls me. Now what we want to do is to educate yourself and know how to take ownership of the whole system. Now here's the bizarreness of it all. Let's say, for example, you've had an interesting life. Let's say you're the 12th children, and all everybody's angry and beating you up and picking on you, and your brothers don't like you, and they roll you up in carpet, they lock you in the trunk of the car, they throw you in the closet, and they're really mean to you. So you got all this trauma, and you're trying to figure out how you are and what you are, and people beat up on you and all this stuff, and either you're going to get tough or you're going to have other issues. And then when you turn 17, your life is crazy, you hate school, you hate people, always in fights, and so here you are, you sign up, and they put a gun in your hand, and now you're out there in Afghanistan or another war, and your buddies are being killed, and you're killing, and next thing you know, you have complex PTSD. Now let me remind you, everybody has PTSD. Some are more severe than others. Post-traumatic stress. Now the word traumatic is there's a big variable with traumatic. A car accident could be very traumatic for one person, not so much as the other. Being laughed at could be a trauma, and that whole life is tilted and angled to be a trauma. Being beaten for no reason as a child will have an impact on that child that could be considered traumatic. Now there's extreme, like beatings, rapes, and abuses, and traumas, and war memories, and accidents, and deaths. These are all. So every one of us has a trauma. You can call it a big trauma, a little trauma, and anything in between. So we all have PTSD. Complex PTSD means you just got a lot of them. And so now the bizarre thing is, some people call it a disease. It is not a disease. It's how the brain works and how it operates. It captures and organizes and utilizes this. So some people say my brain has a mind of its own. It doesn't. It has its operating system. Now, of course, you're here watching my videos. You're trying to sort your own head out. You're trying to get your life together. You're trying to heal your body. You want to improve your relationships. You want to make more money. And the best way to do that is, 1, know how your mind works. 2, make the adjustments in your mind. 3, start practicing what you do want within yourself and moving forward and having emotional state control. Mindfulness, being mindful of what's in your mind, whatever's there. And that is the true art of a great person. Now, the bizarreness of it all is that the essence, your true essence of yourself, is what I would call a creator. Now, divine. Some would call it divine spark. Some call it your soul. It's the creator within yourself, and this creator part of yourself will always manifest and create from what's put in self. So let's say, for example, we're talking about how the mind, and I'm going to try to draw it on a piece of paper. I hope it makes sense to you, and hopefully my art works good. All right, so here we are. We have what we call, let's say we have an experience. Whatever this experience is. It doesn't look like an E. Experience. Whatever this experience is. Now this experience could be accidentally captured. It could be something you watched on TV. It could be something that happened in school. It could be anything, all right? So now this experience happens, and your brain and your mind and all your senses capture this experience. So now you have this experience inside your brain. All right. Now this experience is encoded based on the individual, because 2 people can have the same experience, total different reaction and emotions and feelings about it. All right. So now here it is. This is a memory and how it's stored. All right. Now here you are. You're out there in the real world and you're walking, and as you're walking, you hear a sound or you see something, and consciously go and you start to respond physically. And it's built from this experience. So now, depending on the reaction inside yourself, the emotional system in which you're operating, and how you respond to this stimulus will then, you'll go back to memory, physical or visual, auditory, and depending on this state, this will begin to alter what's stored. Most people don't realize the act of visiting a memory actually is changing the memory. Now, the determining factor of how it's going to be changed is the intention and the emotional dynamics at the moment of memory recall or memory trigger. All right? So, the key to creating life changes and to reconsolidate memory is there's got to be an interaction or a breaking or a changing of this piece here. In order to change memory, you must change how you represent it. Now, to understand what memory is, and you can test it, you can test any memory. You can think of a memory, good or bad, and the moment that you think of it and you go into the memory, it feels as if it was real. This is what we call, in FasterEFT, haptics training, hypnosis, self-hypnosis, a trance. And from this trance, you operate to survive and act from as if it's true and real. Now, you've seen this with your partners, you've seen this with your children. They start saying, and next thing you know, they change characters, they change behavior. And it's not bipolarism, it's called hypnosis. And it's basically boot camp training. And your reptilian part of your brain is helping you survive. Now, if you've had some severe traumas, some severe abuses, controlling, manipulative brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, fathers, husbands, ex-husbands, girlfriends, and they impact you, this stuff it will still come out of you at an unconscious level, and consciously you don't know why. My brain is doing it to me. The reason is that you hadn't figured out how to change you, and that's what we want to show you how to do, is how to change your mind. Changing your mind will give you the power to create a better life. That's what you want. And so to reprogram yourself is the art. You call it brainwashing. It'd be nice you put a water hose here and it goes out here and all the dirt's cleaned up. Now you're just left with all the good memories. It'd be great it's like that, but I'm telling you, it doesn't happen that way. All right? So what we want to do is we want to help you to change your own programming. Now, and that's the key. So first of all, understanding how the brain works and the processes and how it represents memory and how we create our identity and value system from memories, and changing the memory itself and rewriting the memory to what you want. If you really see memory as this, memory is merely a program installed in your computer, your brain. And this memory, either you watched it by accident or someone did it to you or something happens, your brain encodes this, and then it will start operating. It'll start regurgitating what was recorded. If you intentionally go in and change how you represent the memory, not only do you change how you represent the past, it does not change the past. You can't change something that doesn't exist. You can only change how you represent it and how you're going to do you because of it. Once you do the fine details of changing this one piece, what's going to happen is, first of all, you keep the wisdom of the experience. Secondly, you'll start operating from a higher level of thinking, and you'll start creating a better life for yourself. This is the magic of creating a new life. Now, the bizarre thing about memory shows itself up in physical pain. It shows up in heart problems, health problems. It shows up in your finances. It shows up in your relationship. It shows up in how you treat yourself and what you do to yourself from inside yourself. It all impacts everything. But once you understand how to change this, the medical community or the psychological community, they're trying to figure out how to do it with a drug. You don't need a drug. You can do it on your own by yourself. And all memories, in order to change a memory, all memories change only one way. And that is bad, good, firing off together. They collapse the bad and focus on the good. You rewrite the past. Memories are not stuck and permanent. Memories are not solid fixtures. And there's proof of this. There's people who had aneurysms, they've had accidents, they've had head traumas. Memories disappeared. And people have changed memories to what it never was. And yet there's video proof it didn't happen that way, but in their mind it seemed to be true the way they thought it was true. If this is the case, you should change your mind. Change your mind, change your life. Change your respond. Now the problem is that we have a tendency to hold on to the pain and think it's real and think it's us. Am I making sense here, guys? All right, let me just see what kind of questions we got here. Thanks, Robert, for sharing such a big deal. So grateful for your service to humanity. You're welcome. What do you do if you think too much, or do you believe in these diagnoses like ADD? No, I do not believe in diagnoses like ADD. ADD and ADHD are a new phenomenon that's been going on in the last 5, 10 years, 20 years. ADD, now I work with a lot of people who are quote unquote diagnosed with ADD. ADD is driven by trying to keep yourself safe, so being hyper alert so that you won't get hurt. A lot of people are programmed from life experiences, and I work with many with ADD, ADHD, and one of the children, for example, and how I do it, I say, hey, have the child write a list of 100 things I hate about school. Let's look at home and see what kind of trauma is at home. Because see, the lady who's a psychiatric nurse, she says I was labeled ADD or ADHD, and she said, Robert, the truth is, I couldn't learn. There's no way I could learn because I was so afraid of what was going to happen when I got home. So here it is. She's at school. She's in her hypnosis, her trance of fear of being hurt, beaten, scared. You take this innocent 5-year-old child who is secure at home, and you drop them off at school, which is traumatic. Kids pick on you, teacher. It's like sending a kid off to war for some of them. And then they have ADD or ADHD. They've been traumatized as a child growing up. This is an internal processing of information, and yet they can't focus at school. You put them in front of a computer game, and they can focus all day long. And the only difference is there's 2 different trances here. I'm scared, school trance, I don't trust anybody trance, people are going to hurt me trance, and focus on the game trance. It's all the same. And somebody says, Robert, in your opinion, are the memories themselves important, or our interpretation of those memories? Well, let me explain about memories. Memories are captured moments, and inside the captured moment, there's several things happening. One, an interpretation of it, which you say you give a value system from it. Mom, I'm making up something, mom didn't pick you up at school. And then all of a sudden, you go, no one loves me. Now that's an interpretation, but even before the interpretation of it, there's what we call the linking, emotional linking. A lot of times with memory, without a conscious interpretation of it, the link of the emotion will be able to repulsion or an attraction or a pattern. So your brain is not just one. There's many systems working all at the same time inside yourself. So when you understand that, you can also understand that you can change it, but you must go and re-imprint those memories. One of the best ways to re-imprint memories is know how memories work. And also having a healthy belief system about your memories. So anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. I do have a session here in about 8 minutes. I've been trying for the last, I was supposed to do a session, I do this at 1:30, I could get to work, I tried it another time, could get to work, and then I spoke for another hour thinking I was making it work, and it didn't work. So anyway, this is working. So I've got to go. So those of you who wish you could, those of you who want to learn more, you can watch videos here on YouTube, tap along. If you're really serious and you want something better, we have an online training course. It's going to show you. It's about how to heal yourself. And the best investment you could ever do is invest in your mind. Invest in your mind, clean your mind, change your life. Learn how to love you, like you from the inside out. So anyway, this is Robert Smith. We do have seminars coming up all around the world. Come to a seminar, change your life. So anyways, I know I've got to go. Somebody just asked, what about addictions, dependency? Do you believe that people still have to go through withdrawals? Well, of course, there are withdrawals. I mean, it is a real drug. So anyway, we'll talk to you later, guys. Peace. Love yourself, like yourself. Chill. All right, so now I'm going to turn this off. I've been doing a lot of sessions here lately, lots and lots of sessions.